Welcome back to I'm Still Here. I'm Larry.
And I'm Heather. In 1998, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It changed everything for us, but I'm still here.
25 years today.
Today. I can't believe it.
Well, we're recording this today. 25 years, really.
Yeah.
Now, when you're watching it, I don't know if it's exact, but it's close. And the dogs, we just found out, don't like these. So we're not going to blow those anymore.
And you might hear from Ellie and Ivy.
Yeah, right.
Our counterparts and all of that.
They're pretty good at napping most of the time, but that just got them up. And
that was a little much for them.
So 25 years.
I know.
What's the first thing that pops into your head when you think 25 years of surviving this crazy thing?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, I can't. It's more than I ever imagined, although I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about the other side of it, I guess, right?
But you did a little, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You certainly, I don't think in the first few months to year, you weren't, I hate to say a goal, but your goal was not to see both the kids graduate high school, starting their lives, going cruising, us looking down the pipe at retirement and...
Oh, no, I couldn't even fathom that. I mean, part of it, I think, is just because my age, right? At 26, it's so hard to think about the future like that anyway. But also, it just seemed like it was too big of a dream to be able to maybe hit the milestones of I mean, my first goal was watching that I wanted to see Sydney go to kindergarten, you know?
And she was
18
months.
14 months.
14 months. So.
Yeah. So that was a big goal, but I think it's, I don't know, part of it like sends me back to when it those feelings of it, the initial feelings of just complete and utter fear and remembering, literally everything that got said, I would kind of change it to something else, and just that whole feeling of how can this be happening, and just it was horrible. Like how terrible it was, and how I know I'm not the only one. There's anybody who's diagnosed like this, I think that fear, that terrifying, those thoughts are a part of being diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's such I'm so grateful to be here, right? And
I know you said before that you don't really think of it like as an achievement, Not that you didn't work at this, because you worked your ass off, to be 25 years.
Yeah, I just think it is an achievement in that I've made it. But I also know that it isn't, while I did put in a lot of work and I think I've done some things that maybe are a little bit unusual or exceptional, I also understand that, the treatments have worked, and I don't know if I believe in, was it a miracle? I don't know what those words are. And I guess my thing around all of that is for the women that I talk to and want to help on this road, I just think it's, what I want to say about that is I want you to try, and you can believe in yourself. And changing those thoughts are so important, really working on changing those thoughts. But also, I understand that this isn't always the outcome,
No doubt.
And so I would never, this is what I feel like we need to get away from in cancer, is what didn't they do, or why didn't they make it? You know what I mean? But that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't contribute to your wellness.
Yeah.
Right? So it's that balance between those things. But contributing to being healthy, and I think we've talked about that so much on on this podcast about how my goal was to build a strong and healthy body, immune system, all those kind of things, so that the medicine that I was taking could be as effective as possible, right? So like with all of that, like I chose to embrace all of it. And I would say that's one thing also that when I hear from women who are like, I don't want to say complaining, but sort of complaining about side effects of things, or are so focused on all of the negatives, I just feel like every time you're putting those negative, to the forefront, you are not helping yourself succeed. Mm-hmm. You know, and
yeah, it's okay to complain a little.
Sure, and
or come home and you tell your spouse about how crappy that was or whatever.
Right.
But then mindset wise, you're saying long term, you have to change that in order for the positive to actually come
I think that's how survivors survive, right? Okay. I think that's what, if we were to look at survivors of terrible, atrocities, prisoners of war, all of these different things, I think people survive by maybe tucking away some of those things and saying, I'm going to move forward.
Yeah. It's what's your focus, what's your mindset.
Right.
Where are you giving the energy of your brain to?
Right.
And that can be really powerful.
And yeah.
So do you think, there's no way you can answer this, but do you think this mindset would be there or be as strong without cancer?
Oh, no way.
No, not just in your normal life.
I think I am. I mean, I've always been fairly stubborn. I've always been fairly confident. I've always been willing to take a chance, but I've never had to put it on the line like I had to put it on the line for cancer.
I think that's the big difference right there. You're just forced to burn the ships and put it out there.
Yeah.
Or not.
Right. That's up to you.
And that's, I think, the point that you were making earlier is some people just don't, and their focus doesn't get in the right spot. And that is not to, you can have the perfect focus, and this stupid disease still takes lives.
I mean, it does.
And that's the truth. But does it give you your best chance?
Well, does it give you your best chance of, your best chance in terms of maybe the odds, right? Changing those odds. But also, like, this is about living your best life with what you've been dealt. And again, that goes back to all the people in the world that have had to live through terrible things. Like, you also have an opportunity to say, how am I going to let this affect me? Like, how am I going to have it impact my life? And I hate all this cancer wins, cancer loses, but I will say I feel like cancer wins when it takes over my life in a negative way, right? In terms of
long term,
or even just even like, oh, I can't do that because, or whatever. It allows me an out of something that maybe I should engage in, or all of those things.
I think some people need permission to be tough.
Yeah.
To stand up and be tough no matter what it is. And I'm not just talking about cancer, but I do think some people need permission because of maybe their upbringing or just what their MO is. I think when given permission to go, no.
Yeah.
F you. And to have that attitude.
Yeah.
I think people have it in them.
I agree. And I think you might be surprised at what you have in you. But again, there is like this work that goes into it. And it's not, I don't think it's like, it's about being persistent with yourself. It's about being aware of what's happening. Again, those early thoughts of somebody would say, we're going to go skiing. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll be alive to go skiing. And then saying, wait a second, stop this. Like, I have to stop this thought. I can't keep adding that on to everything that gets said, right?
So do you think that's a trained response?
I think it is a trained response.
Because you're going to mess up
yes.
and then have to...
Yes, yeah. I think it is a trained response. And I think that is honestly I think I learned it because of some of the visualization I was doing, because I realized that by doing visualization, that was helping me think about things differently. And then I thought, okay, here are all these thoughts coming in. How am I going to tackle these? Because that's what's taking me down, is all of these thoughts, right? Oh, my back hurts. Oh my God, it's cancer. No, it doesn't. Maybe it's not cancer. Maybe it's my treatment attacking the cells in there. Maybe it's cancer cells dying. Maybe it's the workout I did. And again, when you have an arsenal of things that you have done, be it meditation or a workout or eating well or, all of those things, you can attribute it to positive things versus going negative. It is in our nature to go negative first. I get that. But I also, if you've asked me one thing that I think that I do differently than a lot of people, it's that.
Yeah.
And and being very intentional about things, like sometimes if you would say if, and I would say when, like I'm intentional about how words get said, and because I know my brain is listening, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're unusual that you are not scared now, and that wasn't, I'm sure, right, your whole life. You're not scared now to throw it out there.
No, I will.
Just be.
I do throw
it out there. And I might fail at that. I might come short.
Yeah.
But I'm not believing it now, and I'm going to work towards it.
Yeah.
I think you're unusual. I think there's other people out there that have that ability, but it's a small percentage of people who truly throw it out there on a daily basis and go, no.
By throwing it out there, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, by most people in those big things, whether it's fighting cancer or whatever it is, those big life-changing things, everybody hedges their statements and they hedge their actions and they hedge everything because we don't want to be the fool.
Yeah.
No one wants to, well, you said type of thing. No one wants to be that, so you hedge what you say. We have great examples of every politician out there.
Yeah.
They all hedge what they say, so no one can come back and say, but you said, nah, think about my words I used. Heather doesn't do that. And you don't.
But I guess because I feel like, again, when I look at stage 4 breast cancer and a doctor telling me to get my affairs in order and knowing what my statistics were, what in the heck was there to hedge? Like, there's nothing to hedge. I'm already in this.
Oh, there was a lot there to hedge. No, you don't even understand this. You're such a freak. People would hedge it and say words like if, and not talk about 20 years from now, and not discuss. They would hedge. They would be careful on that. And you were too. You did that. And you trained yourself to go, nope. Nope. And that's what I'm saying is this is a training, not a.
It is,
just a okay. I'm going to do it. No.
Oh no! It's not just a training. It's a daily practice. It's a check-in all the time with yourself. Yeah. It's a constant, and it does get a lot easier, right? And it,
I think it becomes you.
It becomes I would agree with that. It has become me. I remember the first time that we bought plane tickets after I had been diagnosed, and we bought them, I don't know, 5 or 6 months early, and I thought, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Wow.
But again, that was one of those things that you were great about. What are you talking about? Like, of course, this is, but just not being willing, again, that to me was letting cancer win. Mm-hmm. If I'm not going to live the life I want to live, because of the what ifs. And I guess that is one of those things that what ifs are going to come, and we'll deal with them as they come. But I don't want to live worried about the what ifs, I guess.
So what else, in 25 years, you now have this ability, in retrospect. In this 25 years, what are the big things you've learned about yourself? Maybe due to cancer or not due to cancer. What have you learned in 25 years that maybe your 26-year-old
wouldn't
have, what have you learned?
One of the things I've learned is that, you know what? I know me. I know me best. And just because like the world is doing something doesn't mean I have to do it too, or that it's right for me. I think some of that.
How do you think you learned that?
By trying to kind of conform many times and realizing this feels horrible to me, or I'm not getting joy out of this, or this is not how I was meant to live. And I try so hard as a parent right now to not put that on my kids. It's so hard. As a society, we have rules and we conform, and we need to a certain extent, and we have responsibilities as adults, and all of these things come into play. But I also want my kids to be able to be who they are. I don't want them to be in situations where they feel like the life is being sucked out of them because of a job, or I want them to think about what makes their heart sing, and kind of how to do that, I guess. And I'm still working on that myself, right? Mm-hmm. But and also like some of it, leaving my job 3 years ago, or 2 years, whatever it was. After when I was first diagnosed, I was an OT in the schools. I, quit my job, went on disability. My full-time job for a long time was killing cancer. Like, it was 100%. I was 100% in on that. And then trying to figure out who I was beyond that. I ended up kind of having at this road of, write, speak, talk about this, be you, or take there's a school job open. And that's what I ended up doing. And I realized after time, this isn't the path for me, and I feel so much better even now working, knowing that I'm not conforming to the standards of what people think, and I don't care. It makes me so much happier to be able to live for me, because I think oftentimes, like, I didn't come this far to be doing something that somebody thinks I should do.
Yeah. And I think you've had a lot of experiences also of, and this is not specific, this has nothing to do with cancer, but experiences of you taking people's advice.
Yeah.
When back here, we all have that voice. Yes. And that voice was telling you something different, but you listened to the experience.
To the person who I thought.
To the profession, to the whatever. Yeah. And it didn't work out, and you were like, oh, I knew it. Yeah. I knew it from the beginning. Yep. And I think we all have that voice. Yep. I think you are learning, and we all are learning how to listen to it better and act on it.
And just to go, wait a second. I think what I've learned is, like, no, I have valuable experience too. Yeah. I am not. Again, it doesn't matter what their degree is. It doesn't matter what their, I have valuable.
But even in the situations where you didn't have valuable experience,
I still had.
You were right.
Good. I know.
You have that intuition, instinct. Yep. There are people who are rookies in every field. Yeah. In athletics, and they can still be the best one. Yeah. Because they have that innate thing. Yeah. That people can't put a finger on. Yeah. I think it took you a long time to trust that for a lot of different reasons.
Well, I think what it took was a reflection back on what I did. I trusted myself in cancer. Trusted myself in cancer, and that's turned out pretty freaking well. Yeah. And that's the one time I did go all in on myself.
Yeah. And you put trust in the people around, like your physicians and oncologists. Yes. You put the trust in the right people. They had to earn that, I think. And I think they all earned it from you. Yeah. But then you were like, boom, you got it. And you trust. Yeah. And then it went back and forth with that.
So I agree. I think there's a lot to that. And, you work with a lot of people over time and things like that, where I just go, these are not the humans that I want to surround myself with. Mm-hmm. And they never will be. And what I have found, too, is I know I'm a strong person, personality, whatever. I'm not confrontational necessarily, but I won't go back on what I believe. And that has been a problem for people over, because they just want me to shut up and do my job. And that's not...
And we're both that way.
And that's not who I am, right? And especially I think it's easier to do that as a man because, again, we're taught as little girls not to trust our intuition and not to,
we're just being strong, you're being a bitch.
Yeah, not to make waves and not to have an opinion and all of these things. And that's not who I am, and it, honestly, you're so right that it has served me the best when I listen to myself, when I know.
But I think, the people, you needed examples of that.
Yeah.
And then each time you looked back and went, damn it. And the next time, and then you did.
And it does. And that's like, I do learn. And the other thing is you can't, I'm 51 now, and I'm grateful that I've had all of those years to learn all of those things. But I also go, I'm going to keep learning, and my life isn't done, and I'm not, it's not over, it's now,
so
my life
you
can
look
be
at
whatever I want it to be.
25 is the next chapter?
I don't know.
There's a whole new chapter of a book, or you don't know yet?
I think that right now
book.
Right now I really see, like, in the last year and a half since I had quit my job that I just was really unhappy in. And again, it checked all the boxes on paper, but it wasn't for me. And now that I've been gone from that and I have literally been negotiating my own contracts and doing things, I see things falling into place. And what I have to check myself in sometimes again is, no, don't take this safe route necessarily. Like, again, for me, it's occupational therapy or like writing, speaking, all of this. This is where I want to be, and I know it. And I know that I can help a lot of women, right? And that's what my goal is. But it's so, oh, well, there's this opportunity maybe. And I'm like, no, don't just like... We'll figure things out from there. So for me right now, I'm focused on the next year of what I want things to look like in September next year, I think to look 25 for the next 25 years, I don't know exactly, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody knows.
Yeah, no, I get
It's more of a what would I like.
Yeah, no, I think a lot about what I would like. I mean, I value so much freedom, flexibility, creativity, being able to kind of, work really hard on something and then be done right with it or whatever. I love project type of things. So that's why speaking is so great. You can really get ready for speaking engagement. You can go do it. I love the energy of all that kind of stuff. And then you can come home and relax for a couple, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. I don't love having a schedule. I like all of that being more flexible. So as I look at that too, I think about, I don't know where our kids are going to be in the next 5-10 years. I want to be with them. I want to, if they have kids, I want to be, the grandparents that we can be around. Those are all, I want to be able to say yes to opportunities. That's the huge thing to me, And by opportunities, it's both kind of career driven, but also it's opportunities to be with the people who I love or the people who I really relate to or the people I can help. That's where I want to be.
Give you energy instead of pull energy.
Yes, and that's the thing. I've learned who sucks my energy.
Yeah.
I know who sucks my energy, and I'm just done with that.
And the people that you're around that you're like, oh shit, I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, and that's what I love,
That's
right?
what I seek out.
That's
I want people who are
exactly.
kicking my ass, and I need to get it in gear to keep up. Because it makes me better.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So again, all of this comes back to just like we have like 65,000 thoughts a day or something ridiculous like that. I don't know. Like we can have, there's like, it's unharnessed power in them.
Yeah.
And I think again for women especially, think about what you're thinking about and how you might be talking to yourself. And there's, we talk about, like, we've been talking about you're so dumb. I never say that to myself. I might say that was dumb, or I could have done that differently, but I am not going to degrade myself, because of, just all of that kind of talk. Mm-hmm. So, and then I guess the other thing is just with, cancer, I think what I get asked the most is like, what made the difference? What do you eat? I'm just going to say I eat whatever I want right now. I was super strict in the beginning, and I did it because I wanted to limit hormones. I wanted to, again...
You wanted to be all in.
I wanted to be all in. But being all in means that you are fully on board with, I'm going to do the best I can. I am not going to bitch and moan that I can't have something. And I'm going to reward myself occasionally. I'm not going to beat myself up if I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be, I wish I could have that, but I can't. That is not who I am, right? Mm-hmm. And, when it comes to nutrition, I think we could all do better in terms of eat real food, right? I'm not going to get into you can make that so complicated, or you can just kind of start by making it better, right? Mm-hmm. So, 25 years.
It's impressive. Glad you're here. This would be weird without you.
Humor goes a long ways too in those 25 years, right? I appreciate your support, and I think we've made a good team in all of this, but it's crazy. So here's to the next 25.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thanks everybody for watching, and we're getting ready for the next chapter.
Yeah.
The next season.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. We're looking forward to that. So. Yep. All right.
Cool. See ya.